Welcome back to Newsday. Now, the president of France has announced the death of the leader of the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara. Emmanuel Macron, in a social media post, called Abu al-Walid al-Sharawi killing a major success for the French military after more than 8 years fighting extremists in the Sahel. He added that al-Sharawi was neutralized by French forces, but gave no further details. Rumors of the militant's leader's death had circulated for weeks in Mali, though there had been no confirmation by authorities in the region. It was not immediately clear where al-Sharawi was killed, though the Islamic State group had been blamed for dozens of attacks along the border between Mali and Niger.
Comme l'a confirmé le président de la République.
As the President of the Republic confirmed, the terrorist Adnan Abu Walid al-Sharawi, leader of the EIGS terrorist group, died from wounds caused by a strike from the backing force in August 2021. Thanks to long-term intelligence work and thanks to several operations catching fighters close to Adnan Abu Walid al-Sharawi, the backing force had managed to identify several places of interest where he was likely to hide. Mid-August, we decided to launch an operation targeting these places. It's in this frame that aerial strikes took place and one of them reached its target. We have conducted this mission with determination, and I want to pay tribute to our soldiers, our intelligence officers, our partners who paid with their blood, so the destructive will and the blind violence of the EIGS have been reduced that much.
Arise correspondent LAPE OLARINOYE has been monitoring the events, and she joins us now for the latest. LAPE, please tell us more about this French operation that killed the IS leader in the Sahel region.
So, of course, we know that 14,000 French troops, as well as UN peacekeeping missions, which have included about 56 nations, have been stationed across the Sahel region to curb the growing terrorism. The Operation Barkhane initially wanted to establish where these cells of jihadis and terrorist groups are populating in the Sahel region. And so, of course, this time around, they managed to target their main leader, someone that's quite strategic to the spread of terrorism in the region, and they were able to attack him in airstrikes, which have proven to be very, very successful. Whether or not that will curb terrorism, of course, is a discussion that is later to be had, but the intention of the Operation Barkhane is to essentially curb the spread of terrorism within the region.
Dr. Ross, President Macron called Sahrawi's death another major success in our fight against terrorist group in the Sahel, end of quote. How much of a blow is it to the Islamic State in the region?
Well, Aaron, I mean, it's a huge blow in terms of their structure, in terms of their immediate strategy. But if we look at the bigger picture, it might not necessarily do much damage to how quickly the terrorism and the sentiment of terrorism and jihadism is spreading across the region. If we look at Africa as a whole, right from the northern part of the continent, we've seen the increase of terrorism, and even more profoundly in the Sahel region, the entire Lake Chad basin, and now even more recently in the southern parts of the continent, in Mozambique specifically. So it is spreading much quicker than it's been curbed, and so it still is an issue. And so it might not necessarily prove as a huge success in the long run, but definitely in the short run, it has been effective in displacing the strategies of jihadist groups in West Africa.
And that's true, because in reality, it's going to take a little more than this to contain the IS and other militant groups in the region, right?
I mean, if we look at what's happened in Afghanistan, the lessons that we've learned from the Taliban takeover there, it just goes to show that there is clearly an increase in the terror threats across the world, even more scarier for the continent of Africa. And actually what it sends, the message that it sends is that there's only so much foreign intervention can actually do to curb the spread of terrorism. Once America decided to leave Kabul and the whole of Afghanistan, we saw that it was much easier for the Taliban to take over. And it is a wake-up call for African leadership, leaders and African governments to actually see that this could also happen not only in the Sahel region, but across the whole continent if more intervention, domestic intervention, isn't taking place. And it's only spreading because of these porous borders, which are, home to smuggling and increased radicalization.
All right, I want to say many thanks to you, LAPE OLARINOYE, our rights correspondent, monitors situations happening in the Sahel.